Hey there, Laurel here. Welcome to another Simply Card Making video. In the video today, I am going to be making this card, and it features a couple of new stamps from the 10 Stamps. They have a huge release going on right now, just released in June. Lots of stamp sets, lots of goodiness. So I am using this stamp set here. This is called the Hot Books stamp set. And I'm going to be using my Mini Misty. And I actually did not film this, so I'm kind of showing you how I got these stamped images onto my watercolored cardstock here. So basically I took a book, lined it up on the paper, picked it up with my Mini Misty, stamped it down, got the next stamp, put it on my paper, picked it up with my Mini Misty, stamped, blah, 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 blah. You got it, right? You got it? I stamped all of this with the smoky gray ink from the VersaFine line, and I went ahead and sprinkled on some clear embossing powder so I can do some watercoloring here, so I heat set it. I like to heat emboss when I watercolor because A, it gives me those embossed lines. It kind of acts as like a barrier to keep my watercolors contained inside. And secondly, sometimes watercolors can wash out the color of your ink, so by heat embossing it kind of protects the color. So I am using some new watercolors. To me, these are my first tube watercolors that I purchased. I did a blog post on it because it was hilarious. I was on Amazon looking for God knows what, and I typed in tube watercolors. I didn't know why. And I came across this set. This is the Mission Gold watercolor set. This has 36 colors that come in it. It comes with the colors. It comes in the tubes. It comes with this palette right here. It comes with everything you need. I've got it linked to my blog and also down in the YouTube description if you want to check it out. There are a ton of fabulous artist grade tubed watercolors. I know Daniel Smith are some great ones. I have some of their individual tubes, but I am lazy, okay? I like to have all of the colors for me, just like right here. I know with like Daniel Smith, I saw a blog post where you could buy 5 tubes, or you could get the essentials pack or whatever it's called, which I actually bought and never used, and you can create like 50 different colors with those tubes. But I am lazy. I am not a color mixer, so to speak. So I liked this set because it came with 36 colors. And it came with the palette. It came with everything I needed except the paintbrush, which I already had. So that's why I bought this. These are artist grade watercolors. They are fantastic. They are 7 milliliter tubes. So I just dolloped out a little bit in each of the little wells there. A little, like these watercolors, because now if you're like a professional artist and you paint murals or whatever, you go through watercolors faster. But I'm a card maker, so these watercolors are going to be buried with me because they're going to last longer than I do. I mean, seriously, they're going to last a long time. I only squeezed out a teeny tiny bit in each of those little wells there. So if you're interested, I'll link to the watercolors below. But anyway, back to my card. I'm going in and adding some color to my books and to the beautiful flower and the vase and whatnot. I always keep a little rag nearby so I can dab up any color. If I put color down and I'm like, don't like it, I can dab it away. If I get a little bit too much, dab it away. And I'm using a 4-round silver velvet brush or something like that. I'll link to that below if you care. And I'm just going in and playing around with the colors. I mean, really, that's all I'm doing. That's all I ever do in a watercolor. So I love these books. So I wanted to stack them like they're on a shelf. Like I actually have a built-in with books. So that was kind of like what I was going with for this look. So that's how I lined it up on my Misty and went ahead and stamped it that way. But I need to ground my books. I almost forgot. Right now my books and my vase are just kind of floating out in space. Well, not in space because it's white, but they're just floating around. So I went ahead and grabbed a little bit of color, and I'm going to create like a little shadow underneath so it looks like it's resting on something. And then I'll be happy. And then I'm putting my watercolors away, and then we're just going to finish this card. Okay, so I did go ahead and zap it with my heat tool. You can also let it dry naturally, but I was trying to move on with this card before my daughter woke up. Now this is another book set that they are releasing from this line, and this one is actually called Hot Stack. So you can see, well, I don't know if you can see, but she actually has a stack of books down there. So I could have stamped this and just turned it sideways and gotten the same look as I got with what I did here by stamping the individual books, but I like this better anyway. I did add a little bit of the Spectrum Noir glitter pen to the vase and the flower. So here's the stamp set here. Again, this is the Hot Stack stamp set. I'm going to use the sentiment from that stamp set. They have great sentiments in both sets, but I kind of like to interchange my sets a little bit if I can. So I'm trying to decide here, because again, I never go in with a plan when I make my cards. I just, sit down and just go with it, as they say. So I've got a piece of, this is like a charcoal gray cardstock. I am stamping the sentiment with the Tons Hampton white ink. It's a pigment ink, so you got it. I'm going to sprinkle on, now anytime sentiments, I always do the super clear, or the super fine, embossing powder. So this is white, super fine embossing powder, and then I'll go ahead and heat set that. And then I've got a nice crisp sentiment against that charcoal gray cardstock. Now you see that powder, that's kind of a little residue there that's left behind. Oh, by the way, I did prep my cardstock with that little anti-static tool. You can go ahead and wipe that away once. Give your heat embossing a second to dry, because if you wipe it away right after, you're going to smear your sentiment. Okay? You know how I know that, right? So now I'm going to go ahead and trim this down and adhere that with some foam dimension there. Double-sided foam tape. I don't know why I just froze my hand like that. It beats me. Who knows with me. You saw a little boo-boo I made on the back side. Anyway, see, reuse your cardstock. Seriously, don't throw it away. Use the other side. It's all right. Nobody would have ever known if I didn't film this video, right? All right, so now it's time to go ahead and finish up this card. I'm going to go ahead and use the same colored card base that I used for the sentiment. So I went ahead and cut it down and scored it. So it's a standard size 4 1/4 by 5 1/2 card. I'm going to use my Glue Glider Pro here to ink up, hello, got Stampin' on the Brain, to go ahead and add that adhesive down to the back side of that card, and then I'll just slap that right down on the card base. Wada bang, wada boom. Don't know why I just said that. And then I've got that little bit of that border hanging off from the card base just to tie in the gray together. I'll go ahead and give that a coating of that clear glitter from the Spectrum Noir pen as well. And that is it. That is the card. How cute are those books? Isn't that one kind of friendship never goes out of style? I like the sentiments. You got to take a look at all the sentiments that come in both those sets because they're brilliant. And I like the books. I used to be a book reader when I was younger. I don't have quite the time anymore with my 2 kids, but I do have a bunch of books all over my house and all the built-ins, and I do decor with books. So I really love these book stamp sets. I think they're super cool. So thanks so much for joining me, and I will catch you next time.